Okay, let's get right into the nitty gritty. My tie rod, that's where I'm hitting. You can see how I've cleaned it off. Trying to spin the wheel. There it is all over my rotor, so now I gotta clean my rotor. It's gonna need a bump steer now. There's no other way to shrink that cover down, rubber seal, rubber boot, whatever you want to call it. I don't think there's a smaller head size other than that. So this isn't so much a bolt-on application like it says. I have spare tie rods and none of them are per se that smaller. They're the same. They're all the same. I've measured them. So for this to be a bolt-on application, I'm going to run a Heim joint that should give me the clearance because it's going to get rid of the boot. Unless I add a boot, which I'm going to have to because I drive this car a lot. Or I'm going to look into figuring out how to, or if there's a smaller boot size or something. Because I don't want to cut it. I don't want to ruin that. It's a good tie rod right now. For now. But, the M3 spindles are clearly the same as this whole spindle. The only difference on it is the hub where it has dowels for said location on the brake rotor. So that's the only difference between it. Back spacing and everything, I was thinking there's going to be more, but this is about 3 millimeters thick. And from here to here was 60 millimeters from this to this. So the base of that. If this was a little bit, a hair thicker, maybe a millimeter or two, I wouldn't even notice that I was hitting the tie rod boot. So that is the current agenda problem. This is actually kind of very frustrating for me right now because, like, what do you do next, you know? So I thought it was the rotor, but every rotor that I looked into last night has that lip, except for the M3. But there is that much size difference. It's about a ½ inch all around when you line it up properly. The tie rod, that's my issue right now, and I don't want to run a bump steer without a boot cover, because doing a Heim joint and not having a boot on a car that's going to see the road can get dirty, and then all of a sudden now you have an alignment issue, blah, 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 downhill spiral. So I don't want to be buying all these tie rods either, because just to see if I can find one with a smaller head size, but that may be the route that I got to do, is I'll buy 3 different brands and see what it is. I don't even remember what that one is. I think it was Lemon Forder, or it is a Molly. I think it's Molly. Maybe it's Moog. I don't know. Again, I can't remember. I refreshed this car like 6 years ago and haven't been able to drive it as frequently as I used to ever since turboing it. So, yeah, nitty gritty. Bolt-on parts, not so much. Need to modify the bracket. I'm putting the camera in the right direction. Modify the bracket for the brake pads. Clearly you're going to need the calipers, 19-inch wheels. Don't need to modify the knuckle, and then more than likely a Heim joint style bump steer is what you're looking into to make this whole setup work. It's a great setup if I could get it to work, you know. I want to test it out. I don't really think it's going to be any different. I'm going to upgrade the brake master cylinder. That will probably be the most significant difference out of all of it. So, like, I'll brake check myself and Ralph Wiggum's through the window. Yeah, so I'm at a standstill for the moment, and I'm kind of not happy about it. So if there's anybody that's watching these and is doing the same thing, what did you do to correct your tie rod? How am I going to correct my tie rod issue. Oh, come on there, focus, focus. Right there, because you can see that I've been cleaning it with my rotor. Because that's where I'm stuck. This is where I'm stuck at now. I'm getting frustrated because I'm just about to get it off the jack stand so I can pull it out for the first time. So now I can't because I need that in the air so when I bleed everything, oh, Lord save me. Yeah. Appreciate it if anybody knows that if there's a smaller head on a tie rod. Like, I don't want a smaller head, but that might be the direction I have to go with and just replace them more often. Because doing a Heim joint doesn't sound ideal for a car that ends up being a daily from time to time. So, okay, that's your update. The tie rod. Looks like too much material is taken off the rotor. There you go. See it? It's a decent lip. It's about a millimeter or 2.5. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss. So there's no difference on the hubs like I was freaking out about last night. I was thinking they were a little bit thicker, but nope. We're gonna continue on to this adventure.